If you listen to yourself and make pots based on what you've learned and observed, what's inside of you has no choice but to come out into what your work becomes. Because I grew up in a region of the United States that has a lot of ceramics as well. So ceramics were sort of an influence on me from an early age. And if I can bring something in to add to this tradition, that would make me really happy. Time will tell. Karatsu ware in general is quite inspired by natural surroundings. Most of the colors are earth tones, and they're quite minimalist and abstract images of plants or weeds and animals. So when you're drawing in the Karatsu style, and you're drawing an animal or a plant or a tree, you're drawing an abstract painting of these things. You're not necessarily trying to draw this object, but rather you're trying to draw the nature of the object. One thing that my mentor had mentioned to me early on was the more difficult, the more headaches it gives you when you're working with it, the higher likelihood it has of being quite interesting when it comes out of the kiln. The clay here is not plastic, it's not easy to stretch. It tears, it falls apart. Most potters around the world would consider it very poor clay to work with. But aesthetically, the results are wonderful, usually. With these materials, which are very rough, the more time you spend on them, the more time you take away from the nature that they add and the character that they add to your final piece. So I tried it from an aesthetic standpoint, I try to keep all the steps minimal. Doing something minimally and quickly, I feel like takes a lot of repetition. You know, for every pot that I make, there are, 20 that were terrible. Half of the aesthetic aspect of making pots is for my own satisfaction. I have aesthetic goals that I try to achieve, and if I can make a pot functional and aesthetically beautiful, then that is sort of my ultimate goal.